Hey, what is up? Okay, I've had the Hitscan Hyperlight for a month now, and today's video is about how it's holding up and what I learned over the month I've been using it. Now, this is the unbox. Take out the cover, rip out the mouse, and you have the 1K dongle showing. Take it out, turn it around, rip out the plastic, and you have the cable and a sleeve in there that holds the corner skates and full skates, which I have on right now. As you can tell, I also have the 8K dongle here. It's a little bit different from the 1K dongle. The 8K dongle is lighted, illuminated with LEDs. You can have it on, you can have it off, you can have it show your charge status as well. You can set that up in the user interface, so that's pretty good there, and that's what the unboxing looks like now. In my use case scenario, I use the mouse about 10 plus hours a day. My hand size is 21 by 12. The temperature here is in the 90s or 32 degrees. In here right now is 30 degrees with 70% humidity. On the outside, it's about closer to about 90% humidity. I've got sweaty fingertips and a clammy hand, but I've got a nice, soft, relaxed grip. Now, let's start with the specs, the battery life, and the cleanliness check. The battery is a 250 milliamp battery. You can see peeking out through the bottom of the mouse here. At 2K polling, I got about 48 hours of use over 4 days, and on 1K polling, I got 112 hours over 10 days of use. Now, this means the optimization of this mouse is second only to Razer battery management. Now, remember, Razer has an advantage here because the Synapse software can actually switch between higher polling rates during video games and then switch back down automatically to maybe 500 hertz polling rates, depending on what you set it to. And it'll just do this automatically. So when you're doing productivity stuff, surfing, YouTube, you can set it up to 500 hertz polling rate, which uses very little batteries. And then at games, you can go 8K if you wanted to. So Razer wins that way, but the Hitscan battery life is the best out there, out of everything I've tested other than the new Razer. Now, the Hyperlight is a 41 gram Viper Mini shape, and it's rocking the 3395 sensor with 8K polling capabilities. Again, you have to get the 8K dongle separately. The main clicks are Omron opticals, and the side clicks are TTC, and so is the scroll wheel. It's called TTC Gold Dust Proof. Now, I picked the white version of this mouse because the black rubberized mice usually attracts a lot of hand oils and smudges, but with this it's a little bit more difficult to see. Of course, the white mouse tend to yellow over time if you don't clean it regularly. This is because your sweat is corrosive, and over time it'll just eat through almost anything. So regardless of black or white, you have to keep your shit clean. As for shape and size, as I mentioned, this is a Viper Mini shape and nearly a one-to-one clone of the ATK F1. If you're a small mouse enjoyer like the Sora V2s or Atlantis or the Atlantis Minis, I think this will be right up your alley. The grip width here is 56 millimeters where I put my fingers, and this is squarely a medium mouse grip. All medium mice are about 56 millimeters at the grip width. The trigger height is just a tinge over 17 millimeters where my finger is resting just at the beginning of the scroll wheel, which is coincidentally 1 millimeter lower than the OP1WE. Even with my bigger hand, I can claw this mouse pretty easily, but if I'm being honest, I feel like the Maya X size is the perfect small mouse for me. It is not a small mouse, but I mean for my hand size, this should be a small mouse, is what I'm trying to say. But if you have hands smaller than 18 centimeters, this would absolutely be perfect. Let's talk about the build quality. Comparing it to the 80K F1, the Hyperlight has just better shell integrity and overall just feels like a better built mouse. I would venture to say that the build quality is comparable to a Lamzu Maya X, but 7 grams lighter, and that's pretty amazing. They went through great lengths to make such a lightweight mouse feel so rigid and dense and keep it at the 40-gram mark. Now if you compare it to other 40-gram mice like the Mad R, the Skyrocks, the 80K, the Hyperlight is just a cut above. You can feel the difference in how, you know, it feels like it's super solid and super dense compared to the rest of them, which is not to say bad, but you can feel like these mice have a thin shell. But in the Hyperlight, you can't identify where that thin part of the mouse is, if that makes sense. And that's how I feel about this mouse. They have done an outstanding job in this regard. Now the coating is the next topic. The surface coating is your standard Chinese rubberized coating. Of course, I picked the white colorway to avoid the oil and the smudges. They're just too obvious on the black colors or the darker colors. It's pretty dry and slippery initially, and then as you warm it up, it becomes extra sticky and grippy. Now on to the next subject, which is the buttons. We got the Omron opticals on the M1s and M2s, and the side buttons are TTC scroll, and the scroll wheel is TTC gold dust proof. Now of course, you know, by now you know that the general consensus is the Omron opticals are the greatest of all times opticals and are the favorites of many people, and here's what it sounds like. And there you go, that's what it sounds like. As for the feet, the Hyperlight comes naked without any skates installed, but they do provide 2 in the box like I mentioned earlier. This is the full-size version, which is what I have installed, and there's also the corner skates which look like this, just the 2 corners on top, and the bottom looks like that with the 2 corners on the side. If you prefer that one. I mean, I had issues lining up the full skates and I had to do it a couple of times. I don't know if you can see this, but I have, you know, in the process of trying to adjust it and stuff, I've kind of creased it slightly. So, you know, it was kind of like a disappointing experience. I prefer them installed, factory installed, and then, you know, it's easier for me to just, you know, rip it off and switch it out to something else if I didn't like this. I'd rather do that than try to install them myself without fucking it up, is what I'm trying to say. And the last topic of all is the performance and value for money. I did not get any personal bests in my Kovacs scores, and you know, that's a little bit disappointing, but I must say it was trending at my highest scores. It was close to all my highest scores all the time, so that is a good thing. In terms of value for money, at $89 plus another $20 for the 8K dongle, there are other mice cheaper out there, some $50, some $80, some $90, with even better sensors, you could argue, but you are buying a Hyperlight Hitscan for the build quality. This is what's the standout feature of the Hitscan Hyperlight. It feels a lot more solid than other mice in the same weight category is what I'm trying to say. So if you're looking for a product if you're looking for a mouse that feels solid in your hand, feels like it's going to last a little bit longer, I think you might have found the mouse to do it for you, because the Hitscan Hyperlight really feels like this is like coming out from a Lamzu factory. It feels like this could be a Lamzu Maya. It feels like it could be a Maya X. That's what the quality standard is on the Hitscan Hyperlight. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the Hitscan Hyperlight. If you are trying to pick up this mouse, have no doubt, you don't have to worry about the quality. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Click feels, button wobble, everything feels solid and pristine, and I really like this mouse and I highly recommend it. I think this is going to be one of the contention for mouse of the year because of how good it is. Anyway, that's my video for today. Hope you enjoyed this video and took some useful information, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.